Peace. Choose to inspire, not destroy podcast, and we're back.
Austin.
Peace. Choose to inspire, not destroy podcast, episode 42, and we're back. I got my guys with me, Brandon, Kofi, I'm G. If this is your first time here, welcome. You're in a safe place. If you've been here before, thank you for sticking with us. Hope life is good and you're living inspired. Today, we're joined by a really special guest, a good friend of mine, Roosevelt de los Santos, Castle de los Santos, just my guy, real stand-up guy, humble dude, and he came through to bless the platform and show us some love, man. Fellas, what's going on? How y'all doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm as good as can be expected.
Yeah.
Doing well. Blessed.
Yeah, y'all looking good. Everybody looking healthy, clean, you know? Feel like the vibe is what it needs to be. B, you looking real handy in your background. Kofi, we gonna
Man, I love it. I love
yeah,
the workshop, homie.
Yes, sir.
he's the one. He would fit right in. If I could get him to come out and come down there, he would definitely fit right in with he's good with his hands. He's great with his hands.
This is just a snippet. This is like
I believe you.
Yeah.
I asked my neighbor the other day, my neighbor's like that, right? I asked him the other day, I had a low flat, and no, unfortunately, I did not have the air compressor. So I said, oh, can I borrow it? And he pulls out the compressor, the whole motor on wheels, charges it up, hands it to me, right? And I told him, oh, you don't have a small, I said to him, is this the same one that you use to power wash the driveway? And he goes, oh, no, that's another compressor. I was like, so I admire you guys that, have their tools, but they're also toys. It's like,
absolutely.
You get to play and fix things, just like toys. We play with them and they fix our feelings and emotions as well since youth.
Yeah, word. He's a little cocky with it. Sometimes he came over here to help me out and do something, and he asked me for my tape measurer. So I gave him the tape measurer, and he was like, "Gee, I'm gonna get you a tape measurer for Christmas."
You call it's a tape.
I was like, "Yo, bro,
I falling apart. It didn't close. Like, it was terrible. Like, I'm like, yo, what are you doing?
I eyeball everything. My son dropped a dime on me because he's my helper. He was like, nah, he just eyeball everything. Like, I don't be measuring nothing.
It's like 1.5-ish inches.
Close enough.
It's this long.
Close
this
enough.
much.
That's
Like,
it. Be stepping back, looking at it like, all right, I think that's good. I'll bang it in the rest of the way. Kof, what's going on, brother? How you feeling? What's going on with you? How you doing?
Good. From a nap. Good.
Woke up from a nap. Glad you woke up. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we need like the Mios monkey for Kofi sometime. You ever see that commercial with the energy thing that it just smack you upside your head and give you a boost every now and then?
Naps are beautiful. Telling you.
Yeah. Nah. But all right, so let me give a little bit of context as to why I wanted you to join us today, because we got a long history of knowing each other, having a lot of mutual friends, and seeing each other pretty much throughout a lot of phases of life, like being young adults and young teenagers to being men. And even if we haven't been in direct contact all the time, you see the progression in a person. And through social media, I see how much you care for your son. I see the values you try and instill in him, and the love you try and show him, and the way you let him know that it's okay to have these feelings, and it's okay to not be rock hard, and you protect that. And I got a lot of respect for that. So that's just one reason why I wanted you to come on.
To jump in on that, one of my main objectives with my son is teaching him how to emotionally filter his feelings in a positive way, because that to me, that was the largest things. I dealt with anger issues. I tell people all the time, Roosevelt has been a journey. My young friends know me as Jimmy. It's been the evolution from Jimmy to Roosevelt because I've had to learn to deal with things that were either taught in a negative way or not taught at all. And that's that I was blessed with an old man that my father was present, and I could go into that for a heartbeat. That's my hero. That's my black Superman. To me, my father is my black Superman. When I first heard The Rock say that in the movie, I was like, oh yeah, that's how I've always felt my life about my dad. So emotionally, how he filters his emotions is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing to me with my son to teach him, because that's going to set him up for the next move. Whatever his next move is my perspective. So I thank you that it comes across that way because, I tried with him. And for 7 years aged, the one of the best things as a parent is when other people tell you, oh man, I saw your son, or we were in a gathering and your son was there and he moves in a certain way and he behaves, with his cousins and his girl cousins and the guy cousins. When I get that told to me, I'm like, yeah, all right. This is, it's worth all the talking. Because that's another thing. I talk like a mother lover to him about everything. And that was since he was in his mother's womb. I've always spoken to him. And my dad was also a motivational speaker. So he talked all the time to me.
Yeah.
But it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing.
Much respect. Nah, no problem. I see it, and I think I relate to it so much because I understand not getting that treatment as a child. And you don't even learn to process your emotions properly when nobody's teaching you. You got to learn it on your own, and love, it just feels weird to you when people are trying to show you genuine love. It feels strange, and it's an awkward thing, and your defense is always up. And even now, still as a man, with people I come in contact with, it's like, I straddle the fence on how close I'm gonna let them get because it's just not a natural feeling to me.
I hear you for sure, but I'm love, like you can't read it, but his love is my religion is one of my tattoos, and it says it straight across there. So that's to me that, and it's hard because love and doing the right thing is always the hardest because we're leaving ourselves vulnerable, and especially as minority men, it's taboo the majority of the times because, like you said, you have to be hard, you have to protect yourself. But that doesn't mean that you can't do those things and love at the same time. Because to show love is, to me, in my perspective, is showing empathy realistically to human beings and anything that's in existence. They're going to have their faults. They may want to do something in a negative way towards me. Our human behavior naturally is to take advantage of things. I mean, from the moment we're children, it's one of the first things that comes to us naturally. It's like, okay, so if I can have this, I want more. But then it's our responsibility to protect our energies and our emotions, and even filtering when people do something negative to us. If that makes any sense.
No, it perfect sense. And that was the next reason why I wanted you to be on, because you've always had like a certain aura to you of peace and just a understanding, like even if it's complete madness on the inside, you couldn't tell. It was like, all right, like, yo, he's working through it. He's processing it the way he needs to process it, and I just respect it. And that's what we represent. That's what the brand is about, just choosing to inspire. And I feel like you represent that, man. So I like I told you, I had some flowers to give you, and that was it.
Copied. Thank you. Thank you very much, man. We're all dads, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we all carry
Proud.
that feeling. 5.
Nah.
Bless it.
Proud.
Oh, proud. That's what you said. 5. Like you say, damn, homie.
He's about to
Oh,
be in
man.
trouble. About to be like,
I
Barney
can't.
Rubble. I have
Can't
one.
handle that
One
much
son.
cousins. Yeah, I'm one daughter.
Excellent. Awesome. Man,
Yeah, I've got
it's
three.
it's 3.
3. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Kofi, don't
At
get
3.
out of here with that.
No. Hold on.
Don't
Because
start
now
that.
you have to change what type of vehicle you drive. Like,
Yeah.
It's a lot of accommodation.
yeah. Or you can't. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. Yes, a lot of
Or
account.
you can take, yes. Or if you're going, you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong. Or you could take the simpler route and not really give a fuck. You know,
I mean,
if
I
you're
wouldn't say
about
give
it.
a fuck, but like roll the dice and be like, if they pull me over, maybe I'll get a ticket, maybe I won't.
Oh, okay.
Hell no.
But
Why are
3
the
does
3 of them
change
strapped
things.
into one seat?
Nah, 3 does change things because even if you like go to get on a roller coaster or like
Yeah.
it's everything is set up for like 4 at most, right? So once you
Yeah.
have that extra one, you gotta
It's
set
a
things
pack.
up and start figuring it out. Yep.
I mean, is it wrong, like, if we're traveling someplace, like flying, and...
We already know the answer is yes.
Well,
Yeah.
see, I thought
Hit me.
innocent until proven guilty, right? So, I have a frequent flyer membership to a bunch of airlines. Significant other doesn't really. Is it my fault if they call my name and upgrade me to first class and we're all traveling? Like, am I supposed to turn that down?
Yeah, you bugging. 100%.
First of all,
There
do you
is
know
no
how rare
way.
it is to get upgraded?
You
Do
are
know how
bugging.
rare it
Nah,
is
you
to get
bugging.
upgraded when you're traveling? That is like hitting
Yeah.
the lottery. I have
Flying
yet to do it.
without your family, bruh. Flying like
we're on
separate.
the same
Wait. No, he's with them.
He's with them.
Right. On the same flight,
Nah,
On the
a
same
couple
boat.
rows
Same
away,
Nah.
just because
plane.
there's a curtain that separates us.
no way.
Now,
If
I
if
want
I
to
need
say
to
something.
have my back, it can't
I
be
would give
way
it. I
back.
would obviously
You
give
gotta
it to
Yeah.
my wife, but I don't know if they'll let me give it to someone else in my party.
Understood. But do you know where it becomes wrong in my point of view?
Where?
Because he got the 3 little homies.
Yeah.
So if it were just one little homie, hypothetically, and of course your spouse is understanding, then that's perfectly fine. Now
Okay.
you look wrong because you're leaving her alone with 3.
So here's the deal. I'm glad that you said that. Right? We've all flown. There's 3 seats across, so I was going to be sitting alone anyway.
It don't matter. You still in eyesight. You
I was
still in
gonna be
eye
sitting
view.
alone.
That makes
One of us
logistical
was gonna be
sense,
sitting alone.
but not marital sense.
Yeah.
One
You
of us was
bugging.
going to be sitting alone.
You bugging.
like
I can't even stand
listen.
if I go somewhere and like I can't see my kids damn near every second that we're wherever we're at. Like I always gotta have an eye on where they're
Yeah.
going or what they're doing.
I don't care if he's up on top of the swing of the monkey bars. I have a whistle, right? I whistle. We make eye contact. Chuck deuces. Keep it moving. You got to make sure that you can. I don't care if you pop your head out of somewhere and you catch my eyes. That's what I need to see you,
Yeah.
homie. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. For sure.
Wait, all right, Kofi, you crazy, bro.
Listen,
Hold on.
it's like the lottery. Like, I mean, then you sound
You
ungrateful, and the airlines are, oh, we did it, and you didn't take it. What's wrong with, like, I mean, plus,
So you didn't take it?
the leg
So
room.
you didn't take it?
No, I'm just saying hypothetically, it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, it hasn't happened. Okay,
like,
nice.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
it's
good
even
setup.
crazy that
That's
you
good
moment.
setup.
planning
I like to
for the
know-
outcome of that happening.
Yeah, listen, be prepared.
Oh, so I'm all with you right now. You're getting in front of the train or in front of the plane again because it may potentially happen. And says like, "Hun, I don't want to hear anything."
Right.
But you're gonna have to make up
We
for
talked
it
about
later.
this on May
have you
1st
asked her?
at 11:30. Yes, and it was
And what
like,
did she say?
well, you know, and I'm like,
That's
I'll
your
give it
answer
to
right
you,
there.
Yeah.
but I don't think
That's-
it should go to waste. So if
Nah,
they're
you
like, no,
already
you
have
can't
your
give it
answer.
to, huh?
You
Yeah.
asked her. If she would have been like, "Of course, I want you to experience that," then green light.
Right
Well,
there.
nothing we can say. But if she
Well,
already
here's
was
the thing.
like,
Here's the deal. I can't talk very loud because she's in the other room. She's never flown first class, right? So like, once you fly first class, it's very hard to fly not first class again.
Yeah, that's
Like,
crazy.
I'm
You
dead. Just
sound
like once
crazy.
you fly
Nah,
private,
I'm
it's
about to
very
mute
hard.
your thing.
yeah, he tried.
I'm
He's
about
just
to
digging
mute you.
himself
You
deeper
sound
and
crazy.
deeper.
So you don't want to get it too used to it. Then you don't want to give it to her. Is that
Word.
what
No,
it
I
is?
said that I would give it to her, but I don't think they'll give it to. They will allow you to pass it to someone else in your party.
Oh wait, they may on the plane. I get what you're saying
Yeah,
now. If you say, "Honey, go ahead, experience this. I'll stay with the kids,"
right.
which
I
will
don't
look
think they
super awesome.
Yeah.
they
But you're
won't
right.
let you because you have to check in at the desk. They're like, "Hey, you've been upgraded." Boom. Come to the front desk. You're like, actually, I want to give this to my wife. They'd be like, no. Like, and
All
they'd move
right,
on to
then
the
it's
next one.
that.
What am I do? I'm looking grateful for in the airline's
To the
eyes.
strangers, you rather look
I'm alone in the
ungrateful to
row
some
by myself.
strangers. Yeah,
I'm just sitting
I,
next to three
you got it,
strangers,
Kof.
or you'll
Good
be sitting
luck
next
with
to two
that,
strangers.
bro.
Like, what? I mean, come on.
Good luck with that.
That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one,
I
man.
haven't done a
It's like flying
disclaimer in
private.
a
Once you fly
while,
private, it's very
but
hard
the
to
views
go on
on
Delta's
leaving
website.
your partner in the back while you go to first class are Kofi's and Kofi's alone. I do not agree with, condone, or endorse those views. I would never, ever, and expect
Listen,
to stay
I think
married.
everybody's asked themselves that question. There's four of us, three in a row. If one of us gets upgraded, what? Like, and if you haven't, you should because like you're gonna get hit with the. It's gonna happen when you travel, and then it's gonna be like, what are we supposed to do? You try to make a decision and board the flight. You know,
Better
you
get in
should.
front of it. Have the conversation early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right,
I'm with that.
leave it in the comments if you're with Kofi, if you supporting the shenanigans and the nonsense. I want to know,
Honest conversation.
but before I forget, two things: subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, like, comment, interact. You want to be a guest? Hit us up, come through and chop it up with us. But to you, Roosevelt, man, it's a small thing, right? But it meant a lot to me. The last time I saw you at Danny's birthday, the barbecue.
Yes.
So I get there, and I'm dapping everybody up. It's been like 2 years probably or something since I seen everybody. So I'm happy to be out. But it was a 2-hour drive. I forgot to get some water. I usually always got water with me. I'm thirsty. I'm looking around.
You
It's
did
beer.
it was a horrible drive for you that day.
Yeah,
Yes, it was a bad one.
it was tough. I'm looking at the table. I'm like, wait, it's not a drop of water anywhere. And everybody is like, they laughing at me. It's like, who drinks water? like, what is that? And you were the only one that wasn't laughing and went and got the picture of water and came back and hit me off. So I
That's what's up.
appreciated that because you took
Yes, sir.
my plight serious because I wasn't playing. I was gonna leave and go to the store.
Yes. Oh, I know. And since it's a safe space, it was real. There wasn't gonna be any hypocrisy. It's like, yo, motherfucker, I got here. Took me this long to get here. Like seriously.
Yeah.
So yes, by all means. But for me, I was like, yo, I got you.
Yeah. It was like, yo, how can it not be no water? Like, who doesn't drink water?
Well, where we were is synonymous with alcohol. So
Yeah.
that's another subject as well.
Definitely.
But
I appreciated that. But you brought up, your dad and your upbringing and the way you love your son and just the man you are. And it's been a journey. So I want to know, what was that like? Really? Like, what did he instill in you to help carry you through?
So I'll start off. My father was a shitty dad to his first family. And I, say this because, again, people are like, damn, but you speak so well of your father. I go, exactly. This is where my father was always straightforward and honest with me. And I know his history. So my first half siblings, uh, he wasn't good to them. And this is when he was younger. He was in the Dominican Republic, not justifying giving reasons, because a lot of times uh, when men or women have children at a young age, their mindset is different. I waited to have my first and only child, and I was 35 years old. So, which in Latin culture was like, yo, I was getting, when are you gonna have a kid? When are you gonna have a kid? Since I was 20, because at 19 I was living with someone. 18 I was out of my house, and in a good way, because I was just a real independent soul. My parents were moving to Florida. Again, they were moving from New York to Florida. And I was about to graduate high school, and I said, I don't want to go back to Florida. We were born here, but we've moved. We've moved in different places, not military, but just for my parents searching for better and trying shit out with their family, you know? And I said, no, I'm going to stay here. My parents said, all right, you need to figure out to pay rent. We'll give you the security deposit. They paid the security deposit first 3 months, and they hit me off with furniture. At 18, turning 19, I was like, all right, cool. And they said, take off. So to me, I waited because what I learned about my father, circling back to that, I was the last one. He had me older. So he not only had a lot of more experience, he had a ridiculous amount more patience, and he was utterly in love, is utterly in love with my mother. So I say to my mom that that was a huge difference on why he was the way he was to my sister and I and his first siblings. I'm divorced. I don't justify it again, but through my journeys, I understand it because I went through the depression of the divorce, and it wasn't even out of infidelity. It was not over finances. I was actually a huge prime in my time when we were together. I'm just the ramification of when a child happens and hormones change. Your spouse can love the way you smell and snuggle up against you from one moment, and after pregnancy, you can stink to them. And there's just nothing you can do. It's considered postpartum because there's different facets to it. A lot of people are under the impression that postpartum depression occurs because of lack of finances or hardships during a pregnancy, but it doesn't happen. It actually, I believe, occurred to a friend of ours, Mikey's, one of Mikey's and I's friend that went through that. So I know I'm a rambler. I can talk
Yeah,
at
yeah,
certain
yeah,
things.
yeah.
So my apologies. I'm just jumping around, but it was just a parenting. So circling back, when with my dad, he was just amazing. Like he was amazing, and I was not an easy child. I mean, I really wasn't. I tell them that we discuss it now is that they really didn't understand how to talk to me or even teach me how to emotionally filter my feelings in a positive way because I was everywhere. You know, and I know I definitely made their lives uneasy as parents, but they were both there. They were still constant. So I always say I'm privileged. I feel that that is a privilege by the definition to have parents that are that form, to have a maternal and paternal. Like I have my matriarch and my patriarch on my walls. These were commissioned by myself. My cousin does artwork on wood, and they're pictures of my father, my mother, my son, and I. So he, just taught me every mistake that he did. He taught me not to make it, and everything that he knew, he taught it to me as well. And then he said to me, "And there's a lot more that you have to learn." Because I remember before my father, the irony, the irony. My father lost his marbles, so I had to experience and see my black Superman fly around, bumping into buildings and forgetting who he was. which was very hard, and I still go through it. I definitely do go through it, um, because that was my mentor. You know, like um, yo, my dad's the type of dad, right? I was living, of course. He came to visit New York one time, and he would always do shit like this, and I do this as well now. He would leave post-its because his mind started slipping a little early, so he always had a post-it thing, post-its around. So he would leave little post-its on my car, just positive messages. I love you. I know you must have been sleeping. Like just random shit, and I have them in collections. I actually have something up right here that was in his handwriting because it was one of his last love notes he was actually able to give me. I call them love notes because that's literally what they were. And it's in Spanish. He says, "Lo quiero mucho con todo mi corazón. I love you guys with all of my heart. Son ustedes parte de mi vida. You are a part of my life. Daddies." So when people tell me about the way I parent, man, that's where it came from. My mother says and my father's looked at me the same way I look at my son, and because it's like, damn, I made that. You came from these nuts, and I tell my son that all the time. I remind him, don't get it twisted. I remind him totally. I believe that in our culture they'll be like, oh, there's a baby in mommy's belly and titi's belly. I'm always like, tell them who put that baby in that belly. And they're like, ah, shut up, shut up. I'm like, oh no, that man put that baby in I'm about that. I'm like, wait, if they know that there's a baby in that belly. And that's another thing with my son, just I don't hide anything. To me, it's in the delivery. They're smarter than we are. They're stronger than we are. They're more understanding than we are. They do. It depends on which emotional filters we put in front of their eyes. That then, depicts how they're going to react to things. And again, I tell this to my son, my young king. I tell him all the time. I go, dude, you make me look good because you handle your motherfucking business like there's no other. So when you handle your business, people know I'm handling my business. So thank you. Because again, I'm rambling, but because I do my son. I know you met my son. I resigned, and many people don't know this. So I resigned from a six-figure job as a substation, transmission division, and distribution high voltage substation operator. That's the dude in the movies that answers to a red phone and a black phone and a white phone that is always checking the computer screen. When the lights go out, I know what happens, all of that because of him. I said to myself, and I did something that is not normal. And I said to myself, I'm not going to be a normal dad. I wasn't going to have influence. She wanted a divorce. He was a year and a half. I said, cool. I want him 4 days a week. 96 hours straight, my son and I spent together, him and I. The average parent, I believe, doesn't know that, but it was because I chose to. I said, if I'm going to do this, not because of me, and I laugh because I say, is what the old books of the old white men and old people that wrote of all the surveys and studies that have been done. I'm not making this up. You catch a child in their early developmental years, and you do it not the right way because there's no right and there's no wrong. There's variables to everything. But we are now in a point. My parents had Encyclopedia Britannica. Like they were proud of that shit. As Latin people, like, oh, we had that was our Google. I asked a question, why do you think we pay so much money for those encyclopedias? Go look it up. Seriously. And I used to hate it because I wasn't a reader. I really wasn't. I'm a listener, observer, feeler, but sitting down and reading a book, it doesn't, I still try, but I have problems with it. But in understanding and filtering what's around me, oh, I love that. So I feel that now we know so much.
Roosevelt.
Shoot,
Hold on. 1 second. You
please.
are a talker, brother. You are a
I
talker.
know,
You
man.
going
Yo,
in.
do you mind if
B,
I
go
if
ahead,
I,
because I saw you was about to say
yeah, yeah,
something. Go ahead.
because you touched on something that is like really timely in the moment. So I didn't
Thank
want
you.
to really make a big deal of it, but I like today I just came from a funeral, right?
Damn.
And
Condolences.
Yeah.
appreciate it. It's
Yeah.
my stepfather's mother, right? So like my step grandmother, I guess. Um, and I haven't met her, right? But at the funeral, right, they're talking about the last few years of her life, where she was struggling with Alzheimer's, and how there were post-it notes all over the house. So when you were talking about like him leaving post-it notes, I thought you were going to go in that direction. And one of the things that, like, the reason why she put post-it notes everywhere is because she couldn't remember almost anything, and she just tried to keep reminding herself. And like they didn't know until they came into the house and saw like we
All
have a
these.
problem here, right? Like
Yes.
this is worse than we thought it was, right? So you said you dealt with someone who started to like lose their way as they got into their later years. So just how was that, like, personally, like how did that affect you and the way that you're able to like carry forward as a man?
So that's a great one, and thank you, George, for shutting me up
Nah, I
and
got you. I
bringing it up.
got you. You know I got you, bro.
So it's my old man. My old man is, and he will turn 80 years old November this year. He is
Congrats.
unfortunately in a home. Um, so what happened is, and I won't. It's not crying, but I do get emotional about it, and not that I'm about crying. I don't give a fuck. You feel it, you feel it. But it was hard. It is extremely hard because he still hasn't passed away. My father has, and I'm going backwards. Maybe I should go to when it started. When it started, we picked up on those things and we knew. Then my mother had enough because he wasn't the best husband. But now knowing it was also he would just forget shit too. But it would always look like he wasn't paying attention. But he maybe could have paid a little more attention. But when they divorced, he was already older. We were already older. Obviously, when you stay for the kids, you want them to get that feeling and learn positive things. And after a while, it's like, all right, we're gonna be individuals. So it went from the post-its. The post-its must have been in his 50s because it started, his post-its must have been in his 50s. By the time they got divorced, he was late 50s into his 60s, and he was living on his own. And then the small kitchen fires started.
Mm.
And that was a tough one because he would leave the pot, the water boiling for too long, it'll dry up, start a small kitchen fire. But, it's like, I'm all right, I'm fine. And again, for a male, it's like, I'm good. Then, and he's in North Carolina. He was down in North Carolina at the time as well. Then it was the driving. It was like, hey, Dad, the way you're driving, you're going to cause an accident. And that, took years as well. And I know to a lot of people it may have seemed like, oh my gosh, it happened so suddenly. But when you do realize that shit takes actually years, and it's horrible because it's a deterioration in there that happens to the individual. So now he's he only recognizes my mother's voice.
Yeah.
He needs a wheelchair. He has needed to be moved to a new facility because one person cannot attend him. He needs like two or three bodies. So the director said, that was something that we needed to move him. And in the interim of all those things, it was happening for me as I was going through my divorce, my first son, like all of that hit me, and I had to fucking deal with it. It's hard, I say, for anyone that has a good parent, because I've seen this happen to, not that it justifies, I've seen this happen to other individuals that they just, oh, well, didn't really have a relationship with my parent. That's where they're at now. What am I going to do about it? But when you are involved with your parent, when they were a good parent, I don't wish it on my worst enemy. Like, to me, that losing a parent in that way and losing a child, I haven't dealt with it and I hope never to, but I could equate to both because he reverted back to a child. And that's that I wanted him to live here. I I had paid movers thousands of dollars and he just didn't want to leave North Carolina. He would okay me, and the last one was like, yo, Pop, we're ready. I'm coming down. Went down there and I was like, all right, the movers are coming in 2 days. And he's like, I don't want to go anywhere. So it was a hard process because I wanted to take care of my dad, but I couldn't even take it. I was trying to take care of my son. My sister was like, listen, we can't do it. She couldn't at the time. So he's in a home. It's tough. There's no easy way because I know one other individual that she does it with her sister from home currently. And Lord Jesus, it's tough on them as well. And the family. And again, it is hard. I don't know if any of you have had to deal with it, but you mentioned it because that's what it is. And I don't know how was she as a. I'm curious because I've come to realize that this usually happens to people that had great minds.
Yeah, so she was a teacher and like one of those types, right? And
An educator.
yeah, and one of the things that is super sad is she knew, like, her husband had gone through kind of the same process later in life. So she knew like some of the identifiers and she did not want that to happen. So she started doing all the Eastern medicine that she could to try and like stave it off, right? So eating
Correct.
certain foods and staying away from certain foods and certain exercise, like anything she could do to try and make sure that she could avoid that. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out.
So that goes to prove to my theory, man or woman, for some reason, and I don't know if it's been proven because I haven't bothered looking into it. My father has Lewy bodies dementia. So the Lewy bodies is horrible because it fucks with you. It literally gives you a pocket. That's how the deterioration happens. You get pockets of clear moments. So my sister and I could be talking for 45 minutes, and at some point my father say, "Oh, mi hijo," and realize, "Oh, it's my son," and then it's gone, and it's just mumble. So everyone that I've known personally or have been, and that's usually my question is like, how is they healthy with their body, educators and enlightened, or just thinkers, and amazing that this happens to them. I feel like maybe they just at some point, uh, like a damn, what am I taking? The surcharge. Not the
Like
surcharge.
a short circuit kind of type thing.
Yes.
Like a overload.
Thank you very much, sir. That maybe they overloaded their neurotransmitters at some point in their journey. Because, like I say, I usually ask that, and 8.5 out of 10 will say, oh, no, they were smart. They were in this profession. They ate health, they were healthy, mind and body. And I'm like, dang. And they all believed in different religions. So to me, whatever gods they believed in, cruel joke, very cruel joke, personally. And not that I don't knock religions. I've studied many religions. I've practiced different religions. I've gone backpacking across in Europe, in Northern Europe, and done travels, searching myself as well. Part of this sleeve is a bunch of stories as well. But that's just because we went into, I said religion. I believe in religions. I believe in actually all religions because all religions promote faith. And faith is usually what shifts the chakra, the third eye, the aura, the being, the soul, or whatever, synonym we want to use, is when our mind at some point has faith, we achieve impossible as humans, I believe. That's my theory.
I think when I think about what motivates us to achieve the impossible, right? Especially as minorities, right? Because we have like some weight on our shoulders, right? Usually, it's other people's faith in us, right? Like we have some people who are counting on us, and we refuse to let them down, right? Like we have some people who like be it a mother who's like, yo, nah, you gotta go out there and be something, and you're like, I'm not gonna let you down, or
Correct.
like my wife needs me, right, and I'm going to provide. My daughter needs me, and I'm going to build the house with my two hands if I have to, because we are going to have a foundation. So like that's why I feel we get our superpowers from, right? Like those people that are behind us, looking for us to lead them to some safety.
Of course. That I agree with you, because to me that's like if it were a gauntlet. That is your drive and motivation. That's what empowers you as well. If there's individuals that are single, come from a broken home, really don't have anything, and that's their motivation for themselves. So I'm totally with you, but you have the faith to me, like, so for I would say, all right, your faith is providing for your daughter. You have faith in that you're going to build the house with your two hands if you can. And then that is what's giving you that boost. So it works and it is amazing. And we create the impossible, especially when we create healthy children. I remind my young king of that, by the way. I am blessed to have a healthy child, right? So I tell him all the time, I love you so much that I made sure that I put a healthy baby inside of your mommy's belly. Again, he's still 7, so I still use the phrase. But I say it just like that. And you know what he tells me? He goes, ay, 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 silly. My son calls me silly or Ninjango. Ninjango is the new name. He does not address me as dad. It's like,
That's crazy.
it's
That's
amazing.
dope.
When he's just talking to other people, he will say, oh, my dad. But with me or my mom or my sister, he's like, oh, you have to see what Silly did. He was, and that's how he speaks to me. I said, man, I'll take it any day. Better than being angry, right?
Yeah. It's nothing like it, man. It's nothing like the love from your child. It's rejuvenating. It almost makes you feel invincible sometimes. Like it could take all the pain away if you let it.
Hell yeah.
Yo, Kof,
And they
you've
have
been
that
silent.
superpower.
You're the other like non-religious person. What do you think drives you? What's pushing you?
In terms of what?
Like providing. Like what pushes you to be successful? What pushes you like since you don't have that faith in like a deity? Where do you find that thing that drives you forward?
I like my shit. I
Hold
mean,
up, hold up. I
like
gotta
my
I gotta
shit.
put you on the hot seat real quick too, Kofi, man, because you forgot when I was going through something, right?
Yeah.
I had a mandibulectomy, and that's where I had a tumor in my jaw, and they had to remove the whole right side of my jawbone and replace it with a metal plate. So my mouth was wired. They had to take bone from my back to put in my jaw. I wasn't walking. I was bedridden. I couldn't do anything, and I was going through a terrible divorce. I was in transition of my marriage being over, and me and Kofi, we talked all the time, like all the time. He really carried me through that, and at that time, when I could move around, he took me to the temple. where they were practicing Buddhism.
I, I'm still a Buddhist, but like as far as like believing in like this thing that floats around, or like no, I mean I think science is the answer, and I think through science you learn about energy that you can give off, right? Um, and that's essentially part of like what we were learning, George, when you speak of that story is like you give off a certain amount of energy or you channel energy in a certain way, it might make somebody else's day, which in turn 30 years later is the thing that makes your day. So that's all. But as far as like waking up early on Sunday, going sitting somewhere for 6 hours or 1 hour depending on your denomination, like no. Or like it's always funny when like athletes are like, yeah, and I respect it. Like, cool, like you have your thing. I want to thank God. He really looked out for me today. He helped me make that shot. And I'm like, so he didn't like the Nets then, right? Like he just nobody on the Nets prayed as hard as you. Like, like it's crazy. So. And listen, to each his own. As long as you can be happy with what you believe in, and it's not directing you to be an asshole to everyone, that's cool. I also like nice shit. To answer your question from the beginning, so that's part of my motivation. I like nice stuff, and I like being a nice person. So that's all.
All right. Well, I'm the crying church guy.
Really?
Oh my god, I'm the
You
almost catch the Holy Ghost, and I mean
you
I
catch
have
it, you catch it, right? You catch
yeah, I haven't always been like that, but since we moved to Jersey and my wife, she's really into church, she kind of started saying she was gonna go by herself. And I was like, oh, wait, like this looks crazy. If you're going to get up, you're going to go to church, you're going to take the kids, and I'm in the house and I'm just not doing nothing.
straight
So
Homer Simpson style.
yeah, it was like I'm playing myself. So I started going, and then as I was going, it started really like growing on me. Like I started to feel a part of the church. It felt nice for my kids to be growing up in the church and they clapping when certain stuff is happening and they enjoying themselves. And it might have just been the family experience that made it more enjoyable for me. But it's something about the word, man. When it hits me, it hits me, and I'm willing to receive it because I feel like something has watched out over me throughout the years and something is carrying me through.
Yeah, that's
May I jump
inspiring.
in on that real quick? Because I go to any and every church if I'm invited. And my reason why, all through my journey, is number one, the fucking vibe.
Yeah.
Going to a church, whatever the denomination, see, I love human energy, and I love that science um, comment that you made because it's true. Science can measure energy as well. As well as if we're thinking of it as our chi or if we're thinking of it as our
Mhm.
aura, it can be explained under all facets. But back to the why I love, I will. My two things are the vibe, the energy in the air, and the fucking stories. I love hearing stories. I'm a storyteller. I have a bunch of stories and journeys that I was been blessed to endure. That was one thing before my dad lost his marbles. He said to me, I've made and probably make a lot more money than you ever will in your lifetime. I was like, gee, thanks, Pop. He goes, but you lived a lot more than I ever could have even dreamed of.
Hmm.
When my father, my black Superman, said that to me, I was like, yo, I made it.
Yeah, that's real.
Because
Yeah.
to me, it's like, dude, I feel like I don't even touch your heels. What are you talking about? You telling me I've lived? You lived, you left, you did. He's got stories as well. And he said that to me. So it was like, oh shit. It was a compliment. But the stories in religions, because the majority of them, they all have the same history. If you go as a historian and you look at, other continents and different ancient great civilizations, which we will at one point also be an ancient great civilizations, uh, us, and they'll find all of our electronic gadgets. It's all this, the stories just get changed. But when there's someone telling a story with such passion, this is why I enjoy storytelling. I enjoy professors and teachers that put in that work or were a little more animated. As you can tell, I am as well. And I said my father was a speaker. Uh, that's why I love going to churches, man. Don't get me to want
I'm
to
I'm
come back next week. Go ahead.
I'm gonna knock you a little bit, right? And
Hit
this
me.
is not an original thought, right? But the way it was told to me is like, uh, so you said one day we'll be a lost we'll be a past civilization, right? We would have been a great civilization, and let's say the world is, has gone through some turmoil, and then they years later they dig up our story, and they find volumes and volumes of Spider-Man.
Yes,
I think
you're
that's a
right.
great history. That'd be fantastic.
Right? Like,
That would be an amazing. Oh, you both hit me with. Go ahead.
did we worship this person? Did we worship this spider deity? Because we have numerous volumes and monuments, and we have our parks built to this character, and we have all these things that if unknown civilization were to dig up our history, it looks like we worship the Spider-Man.
Correct. You were gonna say something.
No, I was saying I do worship Spider-Man.
Well,
He's like, what are you talking about? We're here.
that's what he's talking about.
We're already here.
Hello,
You guys
the
don't
book
worship
of
You
the book
don't?
of Peter Parker. Hello,
Listen,
but
oh, go ahead.
to jump to that, right? And you're right. This is where Greek mythology. This is where if we're going to Asian culture, if we're going to the Mayans, all these stories. Let's say everyone left a Spider-Man trail, right? I'm with you. But there's so many superheroes that what I'm saying is just tell me about the positive superheroes and how they beat the villains. You dig? That's my shit. It's like I'm with it. Oh, your people left Spider-Man, but these people left Thors, Norwegians.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? And these people left Scarlet, a woman, Amazonians. To me, I'm like, I want to hear them all, Chico. I want them all. I want all those stories. But I want to hear them from someone that has faith and believes in it, because I want it told to me in that energy. I want to feel that energy. So that's why, again, I believe in all of them. I say they all work, just like diets. All diets, realistically, all diets work because there is shock to the system. The individual has put a positive perspective, faith into this diet. And we know that if you don't eat carbs for 90 days, you'll see a change. Now, where they don't work is where we don't keep the consistency in our faith. And that's where people that are religious and live a righteous life, I applaud them. Because it's like, yo, you consistently believe in whatever version of JC, Jesus Christ, baby Jesus, dark Jesus, whoever it is that your God is. Maybe it be from the Quran, or may it come from the same Bible that's now broken down in different books in Genesis and different continents. To me, is like, again, tell me those dope ass stories where there was a dude that once got so high and walked on water. What? Tell me about that. That shit sounds funny to me, but it's entertaining. But if it's for righteous purposes, then hell yeah, I'm all with it, man. I love religions. I know it sounds hypocritical too, because like, but then you have to believe in one. It's like, yeah, I believe in all of them. All of them.
Nah, I could dig it. Kof, you want to chime in?
Oh, I was just gonna say, that's one of the reasons I liked when we would go to temples, because get there on a Sunday, be done in like 15 minutes. easy in, easy out.
I
Snack
had a
Stay
time.
home
great
before
time when
football.
we went. I ain't going front. I had a great time. Yeah, I was so inspired that I went up on the stage and talked. That's how
Good.
good I felt. Like everybody in there was smiling. I couldn't do anything but smile and be happy. And I was when I still my face was still swollen. I was self conscious about how I looked, and they were just like damn near like, come on, like we're here, we got you. And they was like, anybody want to come up and say anything? And I was like, yeah, I'm I'm on the way. And I went up there and talked. I signed up. It's like, where do I sign? And then Kofi pulled out on me. He got me to join the temple, and they started like
Then he was
calling
like,
me
I'm
for
out of here.
meetings and stuff. And then Kofi was like, I'm not really messing with that no more.
Oh shit, that was my point. It's like don't hit me about coming next week. I'm here for today.
Just let me
Well,
enjoy this one,
that,
right?
but that's always been my thing with them since I was a child. Was like I, do what I need to on my personal time, but I don't need to. Again, on whatever day we go, I don't need to sit there for 8 hours. Like you can tell me a story in 10 minutes. Listen, I can read the Amazing Spider-Man 257 in 3 minutes and happy.
Yeah. This
Right?
dude
Like
is
I don't
crazy.
need right. So like, and then like, and the Amazing Spider-Man is not going to call me every day and ask me am I coming somewhere else. Like it's just going to let me be and I'll go back. So yeah, yeah.
And I don't owe him money. He's not mad
Right,
at me.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Now I can dig it.
And then I'm like,
That's
what does
kind of
Spider-Man
started
need
rubbing
money
me the
for?
wrong way a little
Spider-Man
bit.
better
They
use
start
some of
talking
that
about
spider
dude.
smarts. Get a
Yeah.
job. Stop taking
Not
photos.
telling you have to give up 10%
Yeah, it was like,
because
wait,
of Vig.
dudes, like, hold on.
The heaven Vig. I call
What?
that the
Yo,
heaven Vig.
Like
if you, I'm interested enough in religion that I've researched a lot of it. And one of the things that really gets to me is like tithes are supposed to be paid in like bounty, right? And like crops and like things of that, and like animal things of that nature, right? Like
you can't
that
buy a
cash,
G7 with broccoli, Brandon. You
yeah, but
can't.
that cash offering is not like legit. That's not scripture. You're supposed to tithe your crop. I have a vegetable garden. They will not accept lettuce at my church. They're not
Can't
Yeah,
buy a
willing.
that's true.
G7 with lettuce. Nope.
I feel
Nah,
you.
yeah,
If we're gonna, if we're, that's where that's like calling them out on the hypocrisy. It's like, hey, if we're gonna practice the origin of our religion, I should be able to bring you some of my crop.
The
I'm
bounty
totally
is
with you.
right.
I had a
Yes,
friend.
I love bartering with cannabis. Whenever I can, cannabis is my crop. I try to bounty and barter as much as I can.
I had a friend say to me last year, like he had always gotten out of like whatever the dues are for wherever he goes. Like, oh, you know what? I don't carry cash. I don't carry cash. So one Sunday they sent around the QR
Oh,
square that
yeah,
you put into your phone,
Yes.
or they
yeah,
put into a phone and you swipe your card. It's
Or
like,
just tap. It's like you have no excuse.
yeah.
If you have your
yeah,
phone or your card on you, you can tap.
yeah.
I
It's
was,
real. I don't
and then
even.
what's amazing is that they pay no taxes. You know, and
it's
it's the
it's a good gig if you
loophole
could get it.
I
when
think
we're
of that as
looking
the
at it.
greatest business on earth. Like you get to
I
operate in this
agree.
country for free, and you don't have to pay
And it's
taxes.
actually not that hard to start your own religion because I've thought of that and looked it up. To
Yeah, we're
be
going way left.
certified,
we've
Yeah,
gone
word,
we've
word.
gone way
Cause
down the
y'all
rabbit
kicking
hole.
my God back in right now. My wife gonna see this. I'm trying to be hospitable and not say nothing, but my wife gonna see this. She gonna be like, bruh, you sat there and ain't
bruh.
say nothing. I'm about to
Without
wrap it
tagging in.
up. Like, yo, y'all, I gave y'all a little bit of room, but then y'all just took it and ran. Like,
Run with it.
nah, hold
Run with it.
on.
Hey, dollars make sense.
Chill.
G, dollars make sense.
Yo, let me tell you about the Catholic Church first.
Nah.
Oh, whew.
Yeah. Nah.
You know what's funny though?
Sure.
We're laughing. So in the early 90s, my father's son-in-law approached him to be a fucking pastor. My dad's like,
Wow.
what are you talking about? He goes, your gift, the way you speak. He goes, we can do this as a business. Now, this dude is entrepreneur savvy. They're They live in Florida, multi-million-dollar home, Miramar. Like he smart. That he came to my dad and he was like, "Yo, down here in Florida, we can rake it." And my dad was like, no. Because he literally came to him as a business perspective. It was like, look, you just have to hold certain, sermons or masses once. And the whole business line, I remember, it was in the 90s. Man, unfortunately, but yes, like we were saying, it's profitable. It's extremely profitable.
Yeah.
And the Catholic Church owns a lot of property to prove it.
And ragu spaghetti sauce.
So I worked for Con Ed, and up until the early 2000s, the millennium change, the Roman Catholic Church, I believe, was the second waterfront property owners around the world.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken. I was like, what? That just goes to prove waterfront properties, and they pay no taxes and nothing on that.
There's a Jesus joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going to do it.
Oh man, I so want to hear it. George, can we hear it?
No
yeah,
more.
please don't. Please don't. Your screen about to be blank in a second. Like
you're about to get stricken down by lightning.
I dare you. You about to be like, why did I get kicked off?
Yeah, they gave us enough warning.
Yeah, that's it. I'm about to wrap it up.
George, I want to ask you though, before you do, did you go to any other religious entities during your during that hard time in your life? You said you went to the Buddhist, right? What is your current religion?
I'm a Christian.
You're a Christian.
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I chant and I meditate. So I didn't completely step away from the Buddhist thing because at the time it brought me a lot of peace that I needed. So it was kind of like I just picked them both up in stages. And as I read, and it was kind of just saying that, look, you don't have to choose one. You can believe what you want to believe as long as it brings you some sort of satisfaction and you get to the goal of having inner peace. And that's all I've ever really chased once I started that journey. So it was just different time periods. At that time I was into that really. And now being with my wife, she just exposed me to something else from a different perspective. And it speaks to me.
Yes.
Beautiful. Kof, you lucky. You my man.
What's up? What's up?
You know what's up. B,
what?
You always play it right. You always stay in pocket. I know how you feel, but when I start my hallelujah, you just let me hallelujah.
For sure.
I didn't say anything.
I see it in your eyes. But
10 minutes or less.
Yo,
if Starbucks can get me a complicated coffee, you can give me God's word in 10 minutes or less.
Yeah. That's it.
I mean,
that on that note.
Have you heard some of the orders that go into Starbucks? Let me get a mocha frappuccino with goat milk, left-handed squeezed, handstand with a drop of cherry juice, and
this dude, you a hypocrite. Before I even close it out now you got me rambling.
Oh, he got you.
Yo, when we went, I went to go stay a weekend with him, and we went to Starbucks to get my wife a coffee. And we get in there, and she just wants a hot coffee. This dude orders
he's not telling the story.
Ice freeze, whatever it was, like a hydro blast, some nonsense. Yeah, and he bought me. I was like, yo, what is this, dude? I don't want this.
She wanted something strong, and she was like, yeah. So I got a nitro cold brew. That was it.
Never heard of it. A cold. I brought it back to her. I was like, baby, a coffee. And she was in the shower. She rushed out the shower. She was like, yo, why you what was that? That cold coffee you got me. I rushed out the shower thinking my coffee was gonna get cold. And it was like a drink already. It wasn't even, I wasn't coffee.
She was up the whole day though, right?
Bugging. No, never again. You 2 for 2 with bad orders for me. I'll never let you order nothing for me.
What was the other bad order?
The churro sundae.
Listen, man, you know what? I can't help you don't like
That
caramel.
sounds amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Not
A
when you
churro.
only want a churro. If we go somewhere, I'm like, oh, just bring me back a churro. Don't bring me a
And then when
sundae
you get
with
to the
churros
end,
and caramel
like, listen,
and Fruity Pebbles ice cream on it. That don't even
we
mix.
only make churro sundaes. Do you not bring them back a churro sundae?
All right.
Like, I mean, like, what?
Alright.
But so how does that look? I go to get
Nah,
you a churro.
We
I
airing our dirty laundry right now. Nobody
I
wants
come
to
back.
see this.
Yeah.
This could be
I
the
come back
outtakes.
with no churro,
Roosevelt.
no churro sundae, but I got Fruity Pebbles ice cream. You gonna be the one celebrate.
He gotta get it off. All right, you got it out. You happy now?
The caramel is delicious.
I think
also.
you've earned
Next
a
time,
part
no
two.
churros for you.
No churros at
Caramel
all.
is
No
Just
churros
bring
for
me
you.
the churros. Don't, oh, that's like Seinfeld. No soup for you.
No, exactly. No churros for you. That's it.
Oh man, yo, I had a blast. This was a great one.
Gentlemen,
Roosevelt, you
thank you
came
very
through. You
much.
did your thing. Thank you for blessing the platform, King. I think you've earned yourself an open invitation to a part
Thank
two,
you, Jay.
man. Because when you hit me, and you said you was a talker. You a talker, and we needed that though. We enjoyed
Word,
it.
'cause
I hope.
we didn't even go into finances, hobbies, or habits. I mean,
Yeah. Well.
that's also good topics to hit and discuss and
We got to
share
do a
off
financial
of,
literacy episode. We have to at
because
some point.
everyone does something different. If we're blessed to be in the position and where we are, we're all doing something right in some form. So, I believe that, hell yeah, we could learn so much more. This was, just kicking it, but then it's like, but let's talk about said subject. I would love to hear you guys' perspectives as well.
100%. We gotta set it up.
Love
Then.
and blessings, positive energies. Thank you on this money-making marvelous Monday. I know I have a name like almost for every day of the week. So tomorrow's today's Tony
Is
the
it-
Tiger Tuesday.
Yeah.
I thought you was about to say
We
something
still
PG about
they not gonna see it till Thursday. We can front like it's Monday. Go ahead, keep it. This money making
Oh,
marvelous Monday. They don't know what day we doing this.
Very true, very true. But thank you guys, man. I'm humbled and I appreciate it, fellas. I had a great time.
My pleasure.
I
It was
hope to
great
one
to
day
have
meet
you.
you in person as well.
Yeah.
Summertime is coming. I know everyone has families, but look forward to it.
Yeah. Well, we do the family thing, so we could make that happen. I'm down for a nice little barbecue. We'll set it up, and again, we gotta have you back on so we could talk some more, man. It was a pleasure. You already know what it is. Whoever you are, wherever you are, no matter what you're doing, just be inspired. Choose to inspire, not destroy. You heard? Peace.
Peace.
Yo, choose to inspire, not destroy.